Welcome to the podcast. It's Mr. Ish. We're here at Kips Bay Boys and Girls Club, called their clubhouse, and episode number 2 of Money Matters. Today's episode is brought to you by the dollar bill, old trustworthy dollar bill. Today we're going to talk about an interesting part of Money Matters. I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, and then we go into the topic. So just give me your name and your age, please.
Hi, my name is Diamond, and I am 8 years old.
Welcome, Diamond.
Hi, my name is Jace Webster, and I'm 8 years old.
Okay, Jace Webster, full government. Next.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I'm 9 years old.
Welcome, everyone, to the podcast. Today's episode is about banking. So, what do we know about banking? Do you have a bank account? What's the big banking chains? Anything you know about banking? We'll start off with Diamond. Let's just see what you know about banking. Besides that, your mother has a little bank card in her wallet. She brings it out when she's gonna buy stuff. We'll talk about that too. What about banking do you know?
I know that you can transfer money from one account to a different account.
Okay. Can you transfer something to my account? A couple of bills I gotta pay. Jace, what about you? What do you know about banking?
The more money that you get, the easier that you can use your bank account.
The more money, what?
The more money that you get, the easier it is.
Well, anytime you have a lot of money, it's going to be easy to use your bank account. I mean, the challenge is when you have no money, how you use that bank account. That's the real challenge. When you got 48 cents and you're trying to go to the store, and that's a challenge. Yeah, but, I guess the more money you have in there, the easier it is to use. That makes a lot of sense. What do you know about banking?
I know that you can get a bank account at 18 years old, and that there's different ways to save your money.
Oh, well, let's start off with you. You could actually probably get a bank account when you're younger, but your parents have to sign. I guess at 18 you could do it on your own, but before that it'll have to be like a custodial one, like my daughters have it, and you could give them the allowance, and they'll go into the little debit card, and they can go to the store and buy stuff. So you could have it a little younger, but in order to do it by yourself, I guess 18 is the age. So does anyone know what do you need to open up a bank account? Like, go ahead, Diamond. What do you need? What's the most important thing you need?
Your actual account?
No, but before, don't twist that. Before you get an account, and let's say you walk into Chase right now, right? Mm-hmm. Chase is a bank. Let's say you walk into Chase and you want to open a bank account. What's the first thing they're gonna ask you for? Or one of the first questions they're gonna ask?
Your ID?
ID is one. That's good.
Your credit card?
Well, you don't have a credit card because you're trying to go into the bank to open up an account. Oh, yeah. So you don't have a card yet.
Your sister?
Your what?
Your name?
Name is good, so they could call you by your name. But there's one real important thing if you're gonna go to the bank and open a bank account. What you say, Diamond?
Your birth certificate?
Yeah, proof. There's some form of proof of ID, but ID is one. Birth certificate.
Your phone number.
They're gonna ask for your phone number. I'm. Somebody got to say this one. Come on.
Signature?
When you sign in the forms, the signature. Come on, Diamond, you got this one. What is it? What
your
you need?
age?
Well, I guess it will say it in your ID, but that makes sense. They will ask, you can't go in there and open an account. But if you were 18, they'll see your ID and they'll see it with the forms of ID that you have. There's one very important thing. If you're gonna open a bank account, you need money. You need to put something in the bank. A check, money, some type of money. Because if you're gonna open a bank account, you can't do it with zero. You need to put $5, $20, $100, whatever it is, or have
money?
Or have a check so that you could deposit the check in the bank. You need something to put in there. So that's important. But the ID is very important also, because they need to know that you're who you are. So proof of ID, birth certificate, passport. I don't know if they ask for social security number, but they ask for a lot now these days. Before it was a little simpler, but now they ask for a lot of stuff. So they need to verify that person is you. I don't even know. Do they ask for like a proof of address? They might. I guess the ID has your address already, so that might be enough. Um, so why is it important to know about banking or to put money in banks? What's the important thing? Yeah, Diamond.
Because if you're gonna open a bank account, you need money. So then you don't just have a bank account for nothing.
Okay, but what's the importance of opening a bank account? Why put it in the bank account and why not just keep it at home?
Then you can keep your money safe.
Keep your money safe. That's very important. What's another reason to open a bank account and not just keep it under your mattress like my grandparents used to do?
For you don't lose it.
Yeah. Or people to take it too. For you to lose it, take it. So security is a very important part. What else?
Maybe so you don't just have like money that you have to carry around.
Yeah, so a lot of people, don't like to carry money, around. It's kind of you know, sometimes people are getting robbed and stuff like that. So the least valuables you have in your pocket, I guess, the better. So that's a good reason. What else?
For the people can't steal it.
Yeah, security, so people don't steal it. I mean, it could be from your own people. If you put money in the mattress, like if you knew where your mother put $1 every day, you'd be like, "Wow, I want that bag of potato chips. Maybe I just take this dollar my mother put over there." So,
Once,
so it's security is one of the things. Um,
once my sister took one of my dollars.
like one of your dollars.
Yes.
She's older than you.
Yes.
And that's the way it is. You can't say nothing about that. When you're the younger one, that's the way things happen. What happened now?
Um, I think the reason people have bank accounts
Okay.
is so they could use their card and like they could store their money for ATMs, and then you could like get your money whenever you want and without any trouble.
Well, that's one of the reasons is to so that you could use your debit card, your Visa card, Mastercard, whatever it is, and you could go places without physically having money, and you could pay for stuff. So one of the reasons why you put money in the bank is so that you could have it saved, and then you could pay for different things, right? So what's one of the things that you would pay for if you have money in the bank? Like as your parents, what was one of the things your parents pay, with their bank account?
Clothes.
They pay for clothes. So let's say you had to go buy uniforms and all that stuff. Your mother would check in her bank account how much she has, and then she'll go to the store and she'll purchase it with her debit or credit card.
Bills.
Bills, very important. A lot of people do that so that they could pay their bills. Is a easy way to pay your bills. Plus, it keeps track of it. So back in the days, people used to balance a checkbook. That means that you have to write down. I put $400 in the bank. I took $20 out. Now I have $380. Oh, I paid a bill. Took $60 out. Now I have $320. So we had to write that, by hand. Now everything is computerized. So, it's done instantly. So that's one of the reasons you keep track of it. Is there any other reasons or any other things you see your parents pay for with their cards?
Groceries.
Groceries is another good one. Bills, groceries, clothing. So it's just necessities. So necessities that you actually need, almost on every day. You don't need clothes every day, but you definitely need to pay your bills and get fed and pay for groceries. I see myself really not even ever carrying cash anymore. So whenever I have cash, it's very rare because you could pay everything with these cards or with the banking system. And now the banking system is linked to your phone, so you could pay by phone, like Apple Pay, and a whole bunch of other different ways
Apple
to pay.
Card.
Yeah, I don't have an Apple Card yet. So what's one? Do we know the different banks that are out there? Let's mention a couple of them. Let's see. What's one of the banks?
Chase and the.
All right, don't just Chase. Chase is one. Go ahead.
The Citibank.
Citibank.
Capital One and Bank of America.
Oh, Capital One, Bank of America. All right, let's go around. Let's see how many we could come up with. I say TD Bank next.
Chase.
No, you just said Chase twice.
Oh, the Bank of America?
She just said Bank of America.
I don't know.
All right, you failed the test. What about you? Do you have another one? No? It's hard. I guess the main ones is Chase, Citibank, uh, Bank of America is a big one, but they have like Wells Fargo. They have a whole bunch of different banks, and there's also a whole banking system. You know, a lot of people put money in the bank so that they could get interest. Do we go over interest? What interest is? So the bank, wants you to put money in it, and then they say if you keep $500 here for a month, we'll give you 505. We'll give you $500.25. So they'll give you, 25 cents for keeping your money in the bank for a month. But the bank, what it does is that it takes your money and it lends it to other people. So that's how banking works. Like if you want to get a loan for a car or a loan to pay for a building, they take everybody's money and they put it in one big place, and that's how people borrow from the banks. Yes.
In order to use your credit card, don't you need your credit card number?
Well, the credit card number is on the card itself. You can't just go to the store and be like 4167. You can't just yell out the number. No one really types it in. You need to swipe it, or you need to do it some form of electronic way.
Because some stores you need to type it in. Then you buy a thing.
No, what they do is they type in the price, but they don't type in the card. The card has to be inserted, or sometimes they have the new ones that you could tap it and it has like a code and it just taps it and it accepts it. Or some old ones you kind of swipe and you get into the system.
So, if you have too much money in your bank,
there's never too much money in the bank.
Like what if Miss Bree said that if you have too much money, then you're like kind of like stealing, and they'll take out all the money.
I don't know what she said about stealing. What you mean stealing?
Like,
if you have too much money in the bank, you just have too much money in the bank.
Yeah,
I didn't know the example, so
I think they were trying to say you had like $1 billion, and someone might think that you stole it from your bank account.
I still don't know the reference of it. If you earned $1 billion for whatever reason and you have it in the bank, you have $1 billion in the bank. No one's gonna think you stole it if you've been putting money in slowly and you got to wreck it. And the only ones that think about that stuff is the people with the IRS and stuff like that, because they need to know. Like every year we do taxes.
They need to know
if I do my taxes this year, right, and I make $50,000 this year, I can't have $130. I can't have $130,000 in the bank when I'm only making $50,000. So the IRS is going to be like, "Hey, what's up, guy? You're making 3 times as much in the bank, and how you got all that money?" So they would want to know. The banks don't really care how much money you put in there, but there's other people that do care, and we call those people the IRS, and they're the ones that come see you. Go ahead, Dan.
So if you have to use your card, to pay for stuff like groceries, why do you have to keep people from like your credit card number if they won't if they can't get the card?
There's a lot of different ways for people to steal your identity or your credit card number. So if someone has your number, your complete number, knows your name, they could make a fake credit card and go to different places and use that card, because the card number is good, the name is good, so they'll create a fake card and they'll go somewhere like let's say Best Buy, and they'll buy 3 TVs for $5,000 and clean out your account. So that's why it's no good to give people your credit card or your credit card number.
I realized something. What would they see? What the face will be different.
What?
On your credit card.
The credit cards don't have pictures.
They don't?
No, they don't have a picture on.
Only their IDs, right?
Yeah.
Only IDs, yeah. But if they create a fake credit card, they're gonna create a fake ID to put a picture of themselves with your name on it.
Oh.
But how do
So
you
so
put a picture of yourself on it?
if there's a will, there's a way. So I don't want to get into the forgery or people stealing your identity, but that's what people do. People steal people's identity. What's one of the most important things you learned from the banking, from your lesson about banking? Go ahead.
To save
Jace, stop moving around. You're touching the microphone.
to save your money from the bank account so nobody can really like steal it.
Yeah, to save your money in the bank so it's protected and no one can steal it.
To have money because you not really need a bank account. You don't really have money.
Well, you definitely don't need a bank account if you have no money. If you don't have no money, what they do is that if you got zero in the bank, they usually close your account. That means they'll be like, "Hey, guy, you're not putting no money in here. We don't have time to be playing around with you," and they close your account.
Um, so it's important to have money or a bank account so you could keep track of when you have to pay your bills or pay your bills and get food or just keep your shelter.
Yeah. So those are important reasons why it's important to deal with the banking system and to have money in your accounts. Um, it's a little different than what we did last week. Last week we talked about the physical dollar bills and putting them in your pockets and all that. That's still used, but a lot of people are really, especially now, they're going away from that and everything is a debit card or credit card.
Because because some you don't have a bank account. Sometimes money will fly out of your pocket.
Another reason I think they created credit cards is because let's say you go to the store and you have no money on you, but you have $1,000 in the bank. They want people to use as much money as possible, spontaneously. So you be like, "Oh man, I really like that bicycle. Oh, it costs $700." You're not gonna have $700 in your pocket, but you may have a credit card with $700, or you may have $700 on your debit card. So they want people to do big sales like that. Go ahead, though.
Um, so how would you put money into your credit card?
Well, a lot of cards, like the banking cards, they're called debit cards because it has a credit card number, but it all depends on how much money you have in the bank. So if you have $100, you could only spend $100. You can't spend more. Credit cards are different. Credit cards, they go by your credit rating, your credit number. So you may have a card that some bank says, let's say Citibank says, "Okay, Mr. Rodriguez, I see you pay your bills on time." They go into your bank history, or basically your credit score, and they say, "Oh, he pays his bills on time. He makes a certain amount of money. He has a car note. Somebody trusts him with that. He has whatever it might be." And then they say, "Okay, from all the different things that we see in your credit score, I'm gonna lend you, or your credit for your credit card is gonna be $5,000." So they're giving you a limit of $5,000. So what happens is that you can start spending it as soon as possible. But after 5,000, they're not giving you no more money. Then the way they get you is that you pay interest on it. So you end up paying, every time you pay your credit card bill, whatever the amount is, they take a little money for themselves. They take a little money for themselves, and that's how they make their money. So keeping you in with a large sum of money out, or with a credit debt, we call it debt. That's how they make their money.
Um, so once you run out of your so-called 5,000, will your credit card expire? Can it expire?
Credit cards have expiration date, but they don't expire because of that. They're basically, you have no more money that they're gonna lend you. So that's like, if let's use a smaller number. If I'm a credit card company and you say, "Mr. Ish, I want a credit card from your bank," and I say, "You know what? You're only 8 years old. I think your credit level is $5." So I'm gonna say, "Okay, I'll give you $5 you can spend at any time. But at the end of the month, I'm going to charge you, if you don't pay it in full, I'm going to charge you $5.20. And then you just say you pay me a quarter. Then next month, I'm going to say, okay, now I'm going to take 20 cents from there, and now you still owe me $5.05. So now I'm going to add another 20 cents to that. So every time that you make a payment, they're going to keep adding interest to it so that you could, they could make money. So even though I only lend you $5, it's going to take you a long time to pay me when you're paying me slowly. So that's the idea.
So say if you're at a restaurant and your credit card declines.
Ooh, tough. It's a tough one. Yeah, hopefully you with a friend and the friend got better money than you. Because I've seen it happen. It's happened for many reasons. So your credit cards decline. I like this scenario. What else?
Like, and you didn't have.
You with your boyfriend or your girlfriend?
Your
husband
you
or
didn't have any like money,
Ooh.
like in bills. What would you do?
I've had a credit card decline on me before. So when your credit card declines, hopefully you have another credit card. My particular problem was, excuse me a second. My particular problem was one time I was going from New York City to Florida, so I was making a lot of stops in different states. So I was using my credit card for gas, using my credit card to eat, using my credit card for this. So as I kept going to different states, that kind of brings a trigger, and people are saying, "Wow, maybe they stole his credit card and they're using it throughout the country." So when I went to the restaurant, they declined my card because they thought that someone stole my card. Because I'm from New York, so how all of a sudden I'm making purchases in Florida? So that's one of the reasons why they declined it. So it could be many reasons. Sometimes you don't have enough money in there. That's one of the major ones. But sometimes it's also the card is being used. I used it 3 hours ago in Virginia, and then 6 hours later I used it in North Carolina. So they're gonna be like, why is so many different states using the same credit card number? So that could be one of the reasons too. Anything else about banking? So we went a whole solid 20 minutes in this. No, we good. You learned a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what you learning next week?
No.
Any idea? So we learned banking already. So we learned about money. What's another good money matters thing to do?
And I actually think that we're gonna do the next lesson is about ATMs.
Oh, ATMs. Okay. What do you think?
Maybe learning about different types of money materials like coins.
I think you learned that money. Yes, cool. I think you learned that the first time was different materials. Maybe more of the dollar bills. So now maybe you learn more about coinage, the different types of coins.
Like different types of money, as in like coin.
Or you know what? Maybe you learn what's the value of like American dollar as opposed to let's say money in Mexico, the peso, money in Europe, which is different. Different. Every country has a different type of money, and then there's a transfer. Like if you go to Santo Domingo, what a dollar bill is over here in Santo Domingo is worth something different. So maybe that's a new lesson coming up soon.
I've heard of something when like you don't have enough money and they have to stay and like wash dishes and stuff.
Yeah, that's an old myth. I think it might have happened, definitely happened. You eating at a restaurant, you don't got no money, they're not just gonna let you go. There's gonna be some precaution, but maybe you're with a friend and maybe that friend got a couple of dollars, because if not, you're gonna be in a situation. They usually do call the cops and go through all that format. Maybe they'll take your ID and they'll figure a way to get their money.
And what if like you're out to dinner with a friend and they don't have enough money and you don't have
you got a serious problem. I mean, it happens. So you definitely have a serious problem. Sometimes people have Apple Pay on their phone, or so there might be another way of getting the money. You could probably wire it. You could probably call your bank and see if they could give you an extension on the money or somehow. But and then some banks have what they call overages, like something that even if you don't have that money in the bank, they'll kind of cover it because they know that you always are depositing money in there. So they'll cover you for $20, $40. They'll put a fee on it, but they'll cover you for a minute. All right, listen, a lot of interesting stuff about banking. It's good that we're talking about it because I think my bank account's gonna go up tomorrow. We get paid tomorrow, couple extra dollars. We still haven't hit direct deposit. We'll talk about that. Direct deposit is very important because you get paid even if you're not at work. Before people used to get paid by check. So, all right, guys, say goodbye.
Bye.
Check. 1 2 1 2. Check. Check.
All right, Money Matters, episode number 2. Stay tuned to number 3.